We didn't check the sound mic. Oh, okay. Good. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Genesis Center for Spiritual Living. If you would please stand and sing our opening song with us, All Is Well. I'm so glad you're all here and chose to spend this morning with us, even though you had to get up an hour earlier. Unless you set your clock ahead last night, then you got up at the same time. My name is Cynthia Zink, and I'm one of the practitioners here at Genesis, and I will be your host for today. Our online host is Cal Boyle. And if you are watching us on Facebook, please say hello to everyone in the comments, share your reactions, and make a connection. You can leave your name so that we know that you're here. We are happy you are joining us. So if you would now please join me in reading our mission and vision statements. Our mission statement. We are building a vibrant community, cultivating a garden of spiritual growth, honoring vulnerability, creating a safe place for comfort of peace where all are welcome and accepted. And our vision? Genesis is a bright beacon with an unshakable heart of love, accepting all, a home for the soul where we each creatively express our spiritual brilliance. I hope you see and experience that as you celebrate with us today. So we have some first-time guests with us today. If during the time when we are saying hello to each other, if you would take the time to visit, there's Katie there, and these two ladies, I don't know their name. Tiana and Jamie. So if you would all welcome them during our, we're glad you're here. So we'd love to connect with you. If you did not receive a connection card, I think you got them to people, right? We have a connection card that you can fill out, And you can put it in the offering plate, and this way we can stay in touch with you and we can let you know what's happening at Genesis. And we are so happy that you're here and want to we do want to keep you. We do want to keep you here forever. We want to keep you informed. Nice save. Anyway, there is also a QR code on that connection card that you can use and give us your information that way. If you have any questions, you can stop by the welcome table, and Gideon will be back there, or Lorianne is available, and I'm available if you have any questions after the service. And then we will have a gift for you also on your way out. So glad you're here. So now is one of our favorite times of the morning where we, Cal, is there anybody on the line? No, okay. Just you? Let us, good thing you're here with us. So let us welcome and greet one another. If you aren't comfortable with hugging, we are huggers here. Just stick out your hand and we'll shake it instead, or your namaste hands can give a contactless greeting. So you may stay seated if you prefer not to mingle. Reverend Rose is our vigil person this morning, and she will remain seated, and she is holding our community in that consciousness of love and support. So, okay, now's the time. I was so excited to get to the meet and greet, I forgot to do the announcements. Eric, can you give the announcements. Okay, so, guess I better go to the right sheet. Calling all Genesis family and friends, our next upcoming class is rather special. Oh, read that wrong. Karen L. Williams, it's not, yeah, that's what I was reading, and I said, wait a minute, well, she is special. Karen R. Williams, who is one of our practitioners here, will be teaching Exploring Roots of the Science of Mind. It starts Tuesday, April 1st, beginning at 6:30 to 9 p.m. until June the 3rd. This class is not offered very often, so we highly recommend registering now at the Genesis CSL.org education/education while you have the chance. This says while you have the change. Chance to change your life. Change your thinking, change your life. Through in-depth exploration, students will delve into the profound insights of these visionary thinkers that include Thomas Troward, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and Emerson. Is it Ralph Waldo? Yeah. It's for me, it was very deep. So there are a couple flyers back on the welcome table, or you can go online, like I said, and register. Tuition is $295 if you order prior to March 25th, and it's $265 after the 25th, after the 26th, after the 25th. Payment plan options are available. If you were not able to sign up for Sound Foundations in January, we now have another opportunity available on Sunday, May the 4th from 2 to 6. Sign up is at the welcome table. We already have 2 or 3 people signed up, so you probably should get ready to do that. Karen, you went to that. You want to say a couple words about what you did? You painted, right?
We painted. First, you take a tour of the whole facility. I mean, it's from start to finish there. And they have these little jigs. Reverend James got to work on a jig where they just kind of cut, it just guided. Everything is guided and it just flows and it's fantastic. And you get to paint and do some caulking. Willie did some caulking here. Yeah, it was great.
Cool. Thank you. That personal testimony. Okay, so we want to thank all of those who are in service today. The setup and cleanup crew is the usual group of people: Gideon, Jim, Eric, me, Rose. And Lorianne did our welcome this morning. That's great. Thank you all so much for your service. We're always grateful for those that show up early and help us get set up on Sundays. We could not pull this all together without them. If you would like to be part of a Genesis service team, please connect with Gideon after the service or inquire at the welcome table where Gideon is sitting. So if you would now remain seated and join us in singing our centering song, Breathe and Turn Within.
I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I breathe and
The theme for this morning is listening to that still small voice. And I, out of curiosity, wondered how many people referred to the still small voice, because that's what I remember Ernest Holmes saying. You would be surprised how many people have used the still small voice in quotes, and you are going to hear some of them now. Ernest Holmes, of course, said, the great spiritual geniuses, whether it was Moses, Buddha, Plato, Socrates, or Emerson, have taught man to look within himself to find God and that still small voice. Ram Dass said, all that you seek is already within you. In Hinduism, it is called the Atman. In Buddhism, the pure Buddha mind. Christ said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Quakers call it the still small voice within. This is a space of full awareness that is in harmony with all the universe, and thus is wisdom itself. Mahatma Gandhi, my firm belief is that he reveals himself daily to every human being, but we shut our ears to the still small voice. A little more contemporary, Oprah Winfrey said, when you don't know what to do, do nothing. Get quiet so you can hear the still small voice. Prayer is listening for the still small voice of God, listening with the ear of our hearts. And so what I'd like to do now is to go into prayer. And if you would join me, if you'd like to close your eyes and just center into that place where the still small voice abides within you. I recognize that great power and presence that I know as God, that is also known as the universe, as the divine, as Buddha for some, as Atman for others, as the Great Spirit for still others. And knowing that Great Spirit, the creator of all that is good, is right here with us this morning, no matter if you are with us at home or if you are sitting here within our community in Burien. We are here honoring that power and presence within each of us and recognizing that power and presence within each, knowing that I am one with it and it is one with me and it is one with each and every one of you here with us this morning, knowing that as we are here honoring the divine presence in our lives, honoring each other because we are one. Knowing that as we sit in our silence, in our spiritual time at home, or just when we're driving sometimes, it's nice to take the time and listen to that still small voice, knowing that it is always speaking. We are not always listening. So just being aware that life is good, that we are given many blessings in life, that all that there is comes from the great creator of all that is. And I'm grateful for our time together this morning. I'm grateful for our musicians this morning. I'm grateful for Reverend James, who shares his gifts with us this morning. I'm grateful for each and every one of you who sit here with us, honoring that presence within, knowing that all is well and that all is good, as I release these words into the power of the divine. And so it is. And now we have, I think the song is on listening, isn't it? Is that what you're doing now?
That's right.
So Matt and Becky are here this morning.
you, Matt and Becky. That was beautiful. So our talk today is about stillness, and let's say this together. Today, I let stillness express as me. Today, I let stillness express as me. And that stillness is the, it's the still small voice. And, so how do we distinguish between the chattering voice of our ego and the true voice of intuition? And we're going, can we use spiritual practice to help with this? Ernest Holmes says, intuition is the voice of God in us, the ability to perceive truth beyond reason and logic. Ernest Holmes emphasizes trusting our intuition to make decisions and guide us in life. Intuition connects us to inner wisdom and finds answers beyond what we can rationally understand. So last week, we talked about spiritual practices of pause, listen and observe our thoughts, and then combine the two, combine spirit and action to move into flow. So this week, we're going to talk more about how to go to the stillness. And I want to talk about where the expression still small voice came from. It was actually 2,700 years ago, one of the more problematic prophets, Elijah, was in a situation. And I say he's problematic because he had a bad temper. He was always losing his temper, and he was doing things that we're embarrassed to talk about. Like most of the Elijah stories you hear in the Bible are not the bad temper ones. But this one starts with a bad temper. Queen Jezebel loved to worship Baal. And Baal was this guy, he was like the Thor of, ancient Israel, except the Israelis, the Jews didn't like him, but he was sort of the everyman God. But they were having a pray-off to see which God was more powerful, the Jewish God or the God of Baal. And the God of Baal, the priests of Baal, they had hundreds of them, and they prayed and prayed and prayed, and nothing happened. So they weren't really on the right wavelength. They had a good story about Son of God, but they were not on the wavelength. Elijah, despite his temper, was on the right wavelength, and he managed to get the effects with his prayer. And then in addition, he had God kill a lot of the priests. What? What's that for? Well, Jezebel didn't like it either. And she said, you cannot be killing priests when you're having a pray-off. So Elijah went into hiding. He was like, God is powerful, but I don't trust those arrows. So he was hiding in a cave. He's like, God, help me here. And he wanted to hear the voice of God. And first there was an earthquake, but there was no voice of God. And then there was a fire, a big flame, but no voice of God. And after that, there was a still small voice. And that was the voice of God. That's in 1 Kings chapter 18, I think verse 19 or something. Probably, I think you have to go to chapter 17 to find out when he does all the bad things. But skip to where he needs to be rescued from his ill temper. So this still small voice is, it's important, it's powerful, and we find it in our lives. In the story of Pinocchio, Jiminy Cricket is a cricket who is deputized by the Blue Fairy to be Pinocchio's conscience. He is the guardian of the knowledge of good and evil. He is a counselor and guide. Pinocchio spends a lot of the story, trying not to listen to him, running away from him. Or even if he isn't running away from him, he can't hear him. He's too busy drinking and smoking cigars or skipping school to be listening to his conscience. But we can listen to ours. What the difficulty is there's a narrator who lives in our head. And Eckhart Tolle talks about the narrator giving us constant streams of words, of thoughts, of stories, telling us what's going on in our lives, often being critical of what we're doing or what's going on around us. The narrator always has a bad word to say about everybody, a little like Elijah. And what the moment of revelation is when you notice that the voice is happening. And so instead of identifying with the voice and just thinking, this is my life, you say, oh, there's a voice happening in my head. What is that voice about? And this is the beginning of freedom, because you find that you aren't the voice, you are that which is aware of the voice. So one method, actually I want to start with a prayer here. That stillness, I find it to be a very vibrant stillness. So let's all close our eyes, and if you touch your heart, it helps. Let's inhale into our hearts. And let's see whether we can, let's feel some appreciation in the heart. The idea is to get a feeling of appreciation. So think of something you appreciate. Smiling faces, fellow congregants, a beloved pet, anything like that. That feeling. And you feel the appreciation expanding and growing and filling your heart. And let's just lay back into that appreciation, into that love and gratitude. We feel it surrounding us. We can lay on it. It interpenetrates our every cell. It goes between our every thought. And we become aware of that the universe is filled with a vibrant stillness. That vibrant stillness is the voice of God. It's the voice of Spirit. It's the voice of us. There is one presence and one power in our life and in the universe, God the good. And that God is expressed to us as vibrant stillness. And as we become aware of how that vibrant stillness is the background to our lives, it's behind every thought, every feeling, every sensation is that vibrant stillness. And we are grateful for the awareness of this vibrant stillness, and we let go anything that blocks it, any resistance to it, any thoughts of unreality, as we let our awareness of this tidal wave of vibrant stillness sweep over us and become our present. And now, whenever you're ready, you can inhale and open your eyes. There's a concept of Wu Wei in Tai Chi, and what Wu Wei is, it's the idea of following the Qi, of following the energy of the universe. So the way, when we talk about a vibrant stillness, let me back up a second. I'm going to be saying the word God a lot today, and I prefer not to, but somehow my stories all involve that three-letter word. And God is, when I say that word, I'm not referring to an old man on a cloud who is Santa Claus or Punisher. I'm talking about the way we connect with Spirit, with God, is through principle, that God is that power and presence that is everywhere. It's presence. It's that feeling of us as the lover and beloved. connected to the universe and through the universe. And it's that it's that transcendence, the mystery of the connection, the unity of the entire universe and the connection of that. And so, forgive me as there are lots of synonyms. There's spirit, there's the divine, there's principle, there's, oneness, divine mind, and God. It means the same thing. So in Chinese medicine, in Chinese mysticism, they talk about qi. They talk about how you follow the qi and follow the spirit. And I'm going to have us do a little bit of Tai Chi. If you don't want, you can stay seated if you don't want to, and actually you can do a lot of the moves seated. If you want to follow along and get up, I'm going to have you put your arms out. So you want to be far enough away from the person next to you that you don't whack them. But I'm actually going to have you spin around. So whacking is... So the first thing we do is we open our arms to heaven. And this is spirit, this is presence, this is lovingness, this is chi, this is the great mystery. So we are open to heaven and spirit. And we know we are 100% a creature of heaven. We are 100% spirit. And then we lower our arms to the earth. We are 100% human. We are protoplasmic life forms. We grow up in society, and then side to side, we are all us. We're humans, we're all in the same situation, protoplasmic life forms who are animated by spirits, who are activated by spirit. So as we do this Tai Chi, most of you know the movements, some of you are going to see them for the first time. And know that the most important thing isn't the spirit, it's the feeling behind the spirit. So the idea is to move your chi or be moved by your chi. And so see how much you can, that's why I did the stillness prayer. Hopefully you have lots of active, vibrant stillness. And so we start our belly is our creative center. This is the center of us as humans, the center of chi. And we are building an idea. This is the fire. We're going to do the 5 elements. The fire builds and builds. It's inspiration. And it builds until it bursts forth, bursts up into the sky. And then the rain comes down. The water comes and takes that fire energy and channels it and brings it through our body into the earth. We pull it up through our roots as we begin growing, like a tree. This is our wood nature. And we grow and we look around and we expand and branch out and we see all the wonderful people, all the wonderful things. And anything we're interested in, we take in, we learn about, we talk to wonderful people, we find out things, and then we make them a part of us. We take what we've learned, make it a part of us, and then anything we no longer need, we release. And then we embrace that tiger that is our life so far, cuddly and fierce, and return to the mountaintop where we never left. And let's do that a couple more times. So we've got the flames building and building and building until they burst forth. And then the rain comes and takes that energy and mellows it and mutes it and brings it into our cells. And then we pull it back up through us and we grow branches. We branch out and then we see the world. We look at the world outside of us. And then anything we're interested in, we study, we find out about, we enjoy, we make it a part of us. And we take all these new experiences, make them a part of us. Anything we no longer need, we release. And then we embrace our tiger, cuddly and fierce, and return to the mountaintop where we never left. Last time. So here's the fire growing, and then it bursts forth, and then the rain comes and brings that energy back into us, and we pull it through us once again, branch out, see the world, come and connect with the chi of all our wonderful friends, and we study and bring it in and make it a part of us. And then we change our lives so that we are now adapted. We let go of anything we no longer need. We embrace it as tiger that's our life so far and return to the mountaintop. Thank you. So. I wanted to do that partly because everybody's got 1 hour less sleep than they're used to. So I didn't want to do like a long closed eye meditation because there might be snoring. So, as some of you know, I was a chaplain, a hospital chaplain many years ago. And one of the things they talk about in hospitals, actually they teach nurses in nursing school to listen to their nursing intuition. And it's a feeling they get. And in nursing school, intuition is given almost as much attention as measurable signs about a patient's condition. So there was a nurse who was in the ICU, and she had this patient, and she felt queasy. She felt like something was wrong, but all the vital signs were fine. I mean, for someone being in an intensive care unit, they were within normal parameters. But because of the emphasis of listening to her intuition, she went and she told the other nurses and the doctors what she was feeling, even though everything seemed fine. So then 3 hours later, the patient crashed and was having an emergency. But because she had alerted everybody, they were on the lookout for that. And they managed to avoid, the patient's heart shutting down, managed to collect and recover the patient. So he ended up being fine and recovering and is doing great now. And it's because she listened to her intuition. Other than her intuition, there was, a robot and AI would not have been able to know that something was wrong because everything they were charting was fine. But this was, her connection was able to enable her to do that. Joel Goldsmith wrote a book called Practicing Presence. And one of the practices that I really enjoy is practicing the presence. And so when I talk about, God as presence, Ernest Holmes liked to talk about that, about how God felt to him like a loving, beloved presence in his life. Whenever he'd do a treatment, the power of principle and the lovingness of presence would come in. And Goldsmith wrote about this. There was actually, I forget the guy, there was somebody in the 1700s who also did it, where every action during the day, as he performed every action, he was just aware of the presence of God with him at every step. And I know I used to do that when I started running. I found that I could run faster and farther if I pictured God running beside me. Even though, in my metaphysics, God is not someone who can run beside me, it helped me run, having that picture. And I could feel the presence, and then picture this way of me interfacing with it. So that's a practice we'll talk about, because that's one of the ways that you can hear the still small voice. This is listening for the presence and knowing, there's the presence of someone who wishes the best for you, who has all the information you need, who loves you, and everybody else. This is also something I can do when I'm having a hard time with somebody. As I look, we always talk about looking for the Christ within someone, looking for their true selves, for their noble selves. It is, this week is Purim, which is one of the more fun Jewish holidays. Many years ago, I had a Jewish girlfriend, and it was so fun having all the Jewish holidays. And Purim was the one where everybody was going, and yay! and dressing up in clothes and making fun of people. And Purim happened after, a couple hundred years after Elijah, the bad-tempered prophet, It was during the Babylonian captivity where the people of Israel and Judah had moved to Babylon. When their country was conquered by Babylon, they thought that they would intermix all the people in the various countries so that they couldn't launch a rebellion. They also believed in religious freedom, so they treated people pretty well. In fact, the Jews staying in what was once Babylon were very happy there for like over 1,000 years. So it was a good spot, but there could be problems. So Xerxes was the king at the time. Actually, so the Persian emperor had conquered the Babylonian empire, so it was King Xerxes, and he married Esther, a Jewish woman, and so she was queen of Persia. But as queen of Persia, you weren't allowed to. The king could ask for you to do anything, but you weren't allowed to request things from the king without him asking first, and this was punishable by death. I guess the people wanted to bother the king. I know that seems a bit much. It's a good thing Elijah wasn't the king, because there wouldn't have been anyone left. And Esther's cousin Mordecai found a plot to assassinate the king and revealed it to the king's guards so that the plot was foiled. The king said to Mordecai, "Is there anything I can do to reward you?" And he said, "Being your faithful servant is reward enough." And he said, "Okay, but I'll remember that." And then there was a guy, Haman, and Haman was actually second in charge in the empire. So he was a very important guy, but it wasn't enough. Haman, by the way, in the Purim celebrations, whenever you say his name, someone says, "Sss." You can tell he's the bad guy. Metaphysically speaking, so we know all the characters here. Metaphysically speaking, Haman represents the adverse ego. He's the part of us that can never have enough adulation, that always wants more control, that no matter who you are, what you're doing, he demands that you pledge, you tell him that he's the greatest. Luckily we don't have anyone in our government like that now. So, the adverse ego. He didn't like Mordecai because Mordecai wouldn't bow to him, because the number one presence and power in Mordecai's life was God. And Mordecai was nice to all humans and respected, most people and did his duty, but he wasn't going to bow or worship anybody who wasn't God. And this was common to all the Jews. This was part of the religion, is God was number one in our life. This was their technique for keeping the presence even through the tumult of daily life. So Haman came up with a plan to get rid of Mordecai and all those people who wouldn't bow before him. He told Xerxes, the king, there are a bunch of people who will not worship you, so they must be traitors. And I have a plan, I'll kill them all. And Xerxes is like, kill the traitors? Good idea. Xerxes represents the intellect. And the intellect can be swayed by listening to the adverse ego. And also, Mordecai represents, the voice of intuition, the voice of spirit, the still small voice. So Mordecai got wind of Haman's plot, and he told Esther, you got to tell the king, because the king doesn't want to kill us. But Esther said, well, he's going to kill me if I call on him. That's like I'm treating him like he's my servant. And Mordecai says, well, we're all going to be dead if you don't do it. So she is caught in this fearful situation. But she ends up listening. Mordecai, of course, is the still small spirit. She listens to him. She says to the king, hey, let's have a banquet. King Xerxes is like, I like banquets. Let's do it. And at the banquet with Haman and Mordecai and her and Xerxes at the table, she revealed Haman's plot. And Xerxes, so I get all these names mixed up. Xerxes says, you tricked me. My queen and this guy who saved me are not traitors. You're the traitor for trying to kill them. And so he gets rid of Haman. Now, of course, in our own minds, we can't get rid of our adverse ego. We can pay less attention to it. But periodically, there is that part of us who will say, what about me? Why is everybody picking on me? I should get those guys. And our job is to listen to the voice of Spirit. And so this is what the holiday of Purim is about. And if you have any Jewish friends or hear about it, Thursday night is lots of laughter and merrymaking as we defeat the Hamans in our lives. We move our adverse egos out, and we listen to the voice of stillness within. So this is, as we go on in a world, we are in a world that seems in many ways turned upside down. There's lots of tumult going on. And as we see the tumult, sometimes people encourage us to pray for our enemies, to pray for people who are doing wrong. And I think the way, in my metaphysics class, the way somebody explained that to me is you aren't wanting to affirm or encourage activities that are bad. What you're doing is that everybody has a still small voice. Everybody has a Mordecai within them. Everybody has that part of them, their nurse's intuition that knows the right thing to do. And you're praying to empower that. You can see that every single person, even that person, has that still small voice, has that power, has that divine connection. And we can pray and affirm that divine connection takes hold, takes power, and does the right thing. And that all the people around them, you can pray for them, for their spirits, for their still small voices to do the same thing. And as we go through life, we can manage to feel the presence as we go through life. We can feel the still small voice. We can know that the still small voice is there. Even if we don't feel it, if we stop and pause, we can pay attention and listen to it. So let's once again say this together 3 times. Today, I let stillness express as me. Today, I let stillness express as me. Today, I let stillness express as me. And we do, whether we're doing it by feeling the chi and going with the flow, or practicing the presence, or praying for that invisible divine part of everybody in the world, or listening to that vivid stillness that will even forgive somebody with a way too bad temper. We can feel the stillness in our lives. So that is the week, and I'm going to encourage you. We have prayer cards. There should be a prayer card, a little yellow card, and it has 2 sides. On the first side is my prayer demonstration. And if there's any instance you can ever think of where you've ever prayed and something positive has happened, it's good to write that down there. Or if you know of somebody else who's prayed and something positive has happened. Because what that does is it anchors the power of Spirit in the world. It anchors the still small voice in the world, so that when you write a prayer, that prayers really do happen. They're examples of heaven on earth. And then for prayers, you can pray for somebody who needs it. You can pray for yourself. You can pray for the world. You can pray. And the prayer cards all go to our practitioners who pray on them over the week and bring them into that heightened state of awareness, so that the the thoughts on the prayer and the power of the prayer is manifested, through infinite presence and power. Wonderful music of Matt and Becky.
The whole world is talking, drowning out my voice. How can I hear myself with all this noise? But all this confusion just disappears when I find a quiet place where I can hear one clear voice calling out for me to listen. One clear voice whispers words of wisdom. I close my eyes till I find what I've been missing. And if I'm very still, I'll hear one clear voice. I'm always searching for which path to take. Sometimes I'm so afraid to make mistakes. From where inside me, stronger than my fears, just like the sound of music to my ears. whispers words of wisdom. I close my eyes till I find what I've been missing. And if I'm very still, I'll hear one clear voice. Oh, one clear voice calling out for me to listen. One clear voice whispers words of wisdom. I close my eyes till I find what I've been missing. And if I'm very still, I'll hear one clear voice, one clear voice, one clear voice.
Thank you, Becky and Matt. I'm supposed to set this up first. Genesis is a community dedicated to love, inspiring harmony, and creating connections to empower spiritual growth. And we love that you are here to share in that with us. This is an invitation to participate in circulation, to connect with abundance and generosity. Your participation makes all this possible. We truly appreciate your support. So let us take a moment to craft our financial gift. If you are on Facebook, please visit our website at genesiscsl.org, or you can text your tithe to 206-800-7595. So if you would now hold your prayer request and your offering next to your heart as we say our offering blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. So as Gideon will be picking up the offering, we will not be singing our usual God is my source. Matt and Becky are going to sing another song for us.
I'm stepping in, stepping into the flow, giving and receiving blessings that I know.
hearts that we receive these gifts, knowing the fruits that come forth do powerful works. And we bless the givers, knowing that as we give, we receive tenfold. It isn't with deep gratitude we give thanks, and so it is. So thank you for joining us today. Please join us after service for food and fellowship. It is the Super Supper Club that is hosting today. And they are happy to join in with you and share their offering. So, wishing everyone a week of joy, of love, and true connection. If you would please stand and sing our closing song, I Release.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. Let my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Thank you all. Have a great